Hey, what's up? So, pretty easy. I'm gonna teach you how to do this. And, just simple step-by-step steps. So first of all, you're gonna make a file 1500 by 500 high. Then you're gonna file, place embedded. You can see I already started it. File, place embedded. Place your render. Crop it out however you want. Cropping out is pretty easy. You just get the polygonal. If you don't know how to do it, get the polygonal lasso tool, select what you want to delete, and then click delete. Then after that, just add your background below. So just go to File, Place Embedded, and I just found a random background. It's not going to show in the end. It's just something for me. Then as you can see below the character, I made a layer, and then I clicked the little half circle, and then click gradient. I'm just going to make a simple gradient right here of black, well, kind of black and magenta, red. And if you don't know how to do that, it's pretty simple. You can see I did it right there. Just look back and see what I clicked. And I'm going to use that angle, the little, like a switch you can see. I'm going to put the black on the right and then the lighter colors on the left because I'm going to have, that's how I'm going to create the glow when I start out. Then I'm going to select my render, hit Control T, which kind of transforms it. It lets you put it wherever you want, resize it. You can see I'm hitting resize right there. And I'm just making sure it fits well. When you always place a render, you're going to want to make sure that the render is probably about usually filling up the whole thing from bottom to top. It doesn't matter really right to left, but bottom to top, you want it to be good. And then after that, I actually went to the gradient fill layer, and then I just set it to overlay or soft light, whatever really works best for you. Right here, as you can see, I made a layer below my character again. I made a probably about 300 to 500 pixel brush, made the color red as you can see right there. The little swatches, I made it red. Then I'm just going to be blotting it around, and then I'm going to mess with the blending mode right there. You can see I'm going to go with overlay at the end. And maybe mess with the opacity if you want, but I kind of kept it the way it is. But that's just kind of your basic glow, and then you're just going to layer stuff on top of it. And then after that, I'm going to create a new layer, this time above the render or the character. I'm going to right click and then hit create clipping mask, and then as you can see, I'm just going to mess with it and see which blending mode works best. It's really just kind of, it depends on what you're doing. There is no end-all be-all for finding the right blending mode. You really just kind of have to practice yourself and see what works best. But as you can see, I went with color, then turned the opacity down a lot. This is just going to make it more subtly, that's not a word, more subtle, and just kind of give it a red glow at the end. It was really needed. Then right here, I'm just going to select the brush tool, and then the red again, maybe make it a bit lighter. Actually, I made it a bit darker, my bad, I made it a bit darker. I'm going to add some more splotches kind of behind it. Sorry that my frame rate's kind of dropped, but you can basically see what I'm doing. I don't know why it's dropped. Oh, I guess I did make it lighter, yeah. So I made it a lot lighter, and as you can see, it's going to be above the first glow, still below the character. And I'm just going to add some more glows, and after that, you can see which blending mode I'll select, like I did with the last ones. But it will most likely be different. If not, I'll leave it what it is now. But I'm gonna mess with it and just kind of see what works best. And I think I went with, let's see what I went with. A lot of these worked pretty good because it was gonna be kind of covered by fire in the end. But I did go with linear dodge add. And as you can see, I'm turning it on and off there just so you can see what it looks like. And I'm gonna create another layer above both of those two glows, still below the character, and make the brush completely white. And then I'm gonna add my highlights here, the highlights behind the character, and then I'm gonna add highlights on the character after that. And then I'm actually going to open a pack called the Divinity Pack. Don't ask me where I got it. I honestly don't remember. But if you just search up Divinity Pack, I'm sure you can find it pretty simply. I believe it was a free pack. I could be wrong, but most packs, a lot of free packs will just have general fire, like this image I'm using right here. I just drag it over and place it in, like that image is, it's pretty common in a lot of packs. But anyway, I find the fire, and I'm going to place it the layer below the white glow I just added in. Then I'm just going to mess with the blending mode to find what works best. You can see right there I went with color dodge at the end. Kind of gives it a little explosion kind of effect. It looks pretty bad when it's kind of dissipated by the end, but once you add more fire and stuff like that, it will turn out a lot better. It looks weird now, but once you throw in some more stuff, it'll turn out a lot better. And then I'm going back to the Divinity pack again, and I'm taking these kind of molten, fiery, flaming rocks. I'm just going to drag them into the thing I was working on. See, I'm going to use this one specifically right here. I'm just going to place it, and once I find a place that I like it, just hit enter like you would with every other thing. Then I'm going to, I'm going to go to filter, blur, and then motion blur. And as you can see, I messed with the angle, so it looks like it's kind of flying in at an angle. It gives it motion, it gives it depth, and this is just something you're going to want to do kind of a lot when it comes to, I guess, creating moving parts. There are better ways to do it, but with this one I just thought it was kind of a simple way to do it. Then I'm going to create a layer over that, and then I'm going to create a clipping mask on that layer. I already explained how to do that earlier in the video. Then I'm going to actually paint over it the whole thing red or magenta, and then I'm going to set the blending mode to hue, as you can see right there. You could just watch to see what it did if you're not understanding, or if you're a more visual learner like me. But yeah, it's pretty simple. And then I'm going to create another layer above that, and this is just a general thing I like to do. Make sure it's a clipping mask like the other one, right there. Then I'm going to mess with the blending mode just to see what works best, but I'm going to paint white on the bottom of the flying stone, and then black on the top of it, and probably hit overlay or soft light with the blending modes. Back to the Divinity pack again, and we're gonna find a little puff of red smoke, and this is just this is a helpful tip to kind of add depth with a simple Gaussian blur, and just how I do most things in the foreground blurred, just to give it some more depth. But as you can see, I'm gonna find the puffy cloud I want to use pretty soon, then I drag it over and I'll show you what to do from there. I have it in, I just create a layer above it, and then make that clipping mask by right-clicking, create clipping mask if you don't know how to do that. Then I'm going to paint on that blank layer, just make the whole entire thing red. And then I'm going to mess with the blending mode. I'm just going to set it to color and then turn it down quite a lot, or just whatever works best for you. But this is just what I went with here. Then I'm going to select the puff of smoke again, go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, then set it to maybe 5 with the radius, 4 or 5. You can see I did it right there if you don't understand what I'm saying again. But it's pretty simple. I did this for a couple things at the front. I did it for more clouds and stuff like that. Just skipped a lot and I added well, I didn't skip a lot. I just skipped, I added a couple things from the Divinity pack. Just what I've been doing, just dragged in a couple explosions, put them right in, and as you can see, it wasn't too complicated. Some of them didn't even need color correction, but what I did with the molten rock and what I did with the blurred smoke cloud, I did the same with a couple things I just put in. Very, very simple, just drag it in, do the same thing that I did with either of those, just what works best. And I'm going to do the same right here. You know, I just drag it in from the Divinity pack, I add the explosion, I'm going to mess with the blending mode, and then I'm going to create a layer above that, make sure it's a clipping mask above it, mess with what kind of blending mode I want. Right there I went with color, and then yeah, just erase some of the edges right there, as you can see I'm doing. It's not super difficult stuff, you know, if you know your way around Photoshop, you know what I'm doing. If not, then I'd probably hit a different, easier tutorial. This one, I guess it's a little complex, just a tiny bit. It's pretty much just dragging and dropping stuff and just kind of making it the right color with clipping masks, as I've been doing the whole time. Kind of letting the explosions and stuff speak for themselves. Take the same exact explosion that I did on the left side, do the same exact thing. You can go back in the video. I don't really want to explain it again. It's kind of simple, and I already explained it. You know, just create the clipping mask above it, paint it red, mess with the blending mode, and then yeah, it's the same thing as we're doing with the left one. And as you can see in the video, I'm just going to speed it up as I add a couple more. It's the same exact thing. I don't really need to explain and show you again. You should get the gist. Let me know if you don't in the comments and I'll help you out. Alright, now time for a fun part, the color correction, just to kind of get rid of the gross colors and replace them with better colors. Pretty simple, you know what color correction is. And as you can see, I went with the Insanity pack there. I just grabbed the color correction and I'm dragging it all the way to the top right there in the layers panel. I'm going to turn it on, turn off the bottom layer, and just see which works best. It works different for every case, but as you can see, that one works alright. And I will go with, you can see which one I'll go with at the end. But this is from the Insanity pack. I do think it's a free pack. Again, I don't know where I found it. Just search up Insanity pack. You can find it pretty easily. then I'm just going to add a grenade PNG in right there. It's pretty simple just to find one, just find one, download it, go to File, Place Embedded. I'm just going to place it, and then I'm just going to put the grenade above everything else, and I'm going to go to Filter, Blur, and then Motion Blur, and add a tiny motion blur for the grenade, and then we'll go from there. Now that I have my motion blur, I'm just going to color correct this whole grenade, as you can see right there. Oh wait, no, I'm not. I'm actually going to duplicate it by selecting it and then hitting Control J just to duplicate the layer. And I'm going to go to Filter, Blur, Motion Blur, and then I'm going to blur it even more. So what I did with the first one is I created the grenade, and by creating the bigger blur kind of behind it, as I'm doing right here, I'm just creating like the trail that it comes with. You know, in a cartoon, how like you throw something and it has like, I don't know how to explain it, like a trail that dissipates like the air moving. And this is kind of the same effect that I'm doing. It's pretty simple right here. It's just motion blur. Then I'm going to mess with the blending mode again, and then yeah, it's not super hard. It's just kind of a matter of finding which blending mode works best for you. And as you can see, I'm just I don't know what I'm doing right there, but I'm messing around with it. Then you'll see which blending mode I use. Time for Cinema 4D, and this is the Max D Sheet Lightroom. I get a lot of questions on this, and as you can see what I'm doing right here, I'm just creating the output paths. If a lot of people get this error, this is how I do it. I'll probably make a full thing about it just because I get so many questions, and it's pretty simple. You just have to know how to do it, and pretty much once you get it, you just get it, and then you click on the text right there. And then as you can see, I added my text. You can see what changed. It's not crabs, it's actually Jib. I did it for a different person. But then I'm going to choose my font right there. It's Chunk, C-H-U-N-Q, I believe it's pronounced. Chunk. I don't know. And then I'm actually going to hit that. You can see it's in the top right. It's like the two arrows. I'm just going to drag it so it's kind of at an angle. Then I'm going to kind of... yeah, that's about it. I'm just gonna hit the, I don't know what it's called. You can see which one is selected. It's like a movie icon, and then I don't know how to explain it. It's the movie icon, and then the orange triangle. It's pretty simple. I'm just gonna select that, and that'll render it for me. Okay, as you can see, I did go with a different person's name. Jib I went with, not Crabs. Then I'm just going to go to File, Place Embedded, and then place my simple text from C4D. This is, of course, the MaxDG Lightroom, if I didn't say that already. Yes, it does cost money. No, there's probably not an alternative, and I can't send it to you for free because, I don't know, he made that, and he spent a lot of time on it. I don't want to give it away for free. You know, that's his hard work. I don't want to do that. Maybe I'll do it one for free or one, I don't know. I've done a lot for free. Maybe I'll do a paid one, or a paid pack coming soon, probably. I'm always working on a pack. But anyway, I'm going to create a layer above that, hit it with photo filter, and then I'm just going to select my color right there. I think I went with a deep red, and then I just, not magenta, ooh. I went with a deep red right there, and then that was about it. And as you can see right there, or for the full video, I'll just kind of be messing with it, and I'm going to add like an image over it and erase the edges, but then I am going to turn it brown and like kind of charcoaly by the end. And as you can see from my Divinity pack, I took a kind of grunge, cracked image, and if you can't find one of those, just go to Unsplash and search up like texture or something. But anyway, I place that above the text, I right click that, and then I create a clipping mask like we've done before. I messed with the blending modes. I do think I went with screen or overlay or soft light or one of those. And then what I'm going to do after that is I'm either going to get the, I forget which one I did, either the polygonal lasso tool or the just eraser brush. Yeah, I'm just going to take the eraser right there. And I'm just going to kind of erase some of the edges right there. And just make it a bit more soft. Just a tiny little brush right there. Tiny little eraser brush. Just going to erase it right there. Just to make it a bit more, I guess, sharp on the edges. Right there, and I'm just gonna make it the white color for my swatch. Pretty simple, you should know how to do that. Get a brush, make the size about 100, then I'm just gonna paint some tiny little, well not tiny, just some small spots right there, kind of, and then I'm gonna, this is also above the text by the way, on the text layer. And then I'm just gonna mess with the blending layer right there. You can go with color dodge or overlay or soft light. I do think I went with either overlay or soft light, but that's just to give it a little more variation, I guess you could call it. Yeah, I went with soft light there. A little more variation. And I don't know, it makes all the difference. As you can see, I'm turning it on and off, and it made it a lot better. Experimentation went on, but at the end I just turned it kind of brown because, you know, that's what worked best for me. And as you can see, I just hit that half circle kind of there above the layer, made sure it was a clipping mask. Then I hit the, make sure it was hue saturation. By the way, what's what I made? I should have been more specific. I made a hue saturation, I made sure it's a clipping mask, and then I messed with the master kind of right there and the saturation, and I made the entire thing brown. You can see what I'll do right here, but I did make the whole thing brown just because it had a fun kind of textured charcoaly look that I kind of liked. some more clouds as I showed you how to do in the beginning on the right side in front of the text. As you can see, the text is brown, and yeah, 25 minutes, that's how you make a nice simple banner.